Awesome. We have Chomzy with us. Chomzy, thanks for being on.
Yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure.
Oh, the pleasure's
Pleasure.
mine. Before we started, I was talking about how you're repping a Boston Bruins jersey.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So here in Vancouver, that's our opposing team, and you're mentioning that soccer is very big in Nigeria, but here we have one
Very big.
soccer team.
The whole of Canada?
Oh, well, no, but in British Columbia, because Canada's so big, there's different provinces, and in BC we have the White Caps, so that's our soccer team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
That's fine.
yeah. But so to give you an idea of how big soccer here is, I've seen one White Caps game my entire life, and I'm 31 years old. So.
Damn. Maybe someday I'll come over to Canada and drag you to the stadium myself.
Oh yeah, we will go, man. You'll have a good time. You'll have a good time. We'll be
I,
drinking
I
beer and all the good stuff. So, Chomsy, we started this because we wanted to understand what's going on globally with COVID-19 and how different countries and people all over the world are responding to this, how they're going through it. So, you said before that you're in the Plateau State in the city of
Yes.
Jos,
Yes.
right? So, how have things been there since COVID-19 has happened?
Well, it's not been easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not been easy, especially with the lockdown last year. It has been tough. It has been tough. Here in Nigeria, the thing is, we are having a lot of issues because we don't have the facilities, to control the crisis. So when it came, we were expecting maybe the government will establish testing centers, places to, take care of people, treatment, and most especially restrict people from coming in. But they didn't. So I think after 2, 3 weeks of us getting the first 2, 3 cases, that is when they started shutting down borders. And by then, it has become something else. So we were just there. The economic issues is not helping. So most of us are living day to day, day to day. What you earn that day, that's what you spend for that day. So when the lockdown came, everybody went in and it was hard. It was hard. A lot of people were suffering. People were just going through a lot of hardship, especially in Jos, where I stay right now. It wasn't easy. It wasn't
Is
easy.
is Jos, is it on the coast or is it more central Nigeria?
No, Jos is central. It's central.
Okay.
Central. It's geographically it's not central.
Mm.
It's not central. It's close to the federal capital territory. It's close to the capital of the country, Abuja. It's very close. It's central.
Okay. So
And that's one of the reasons why we had a lot of issues because Lagos and Abuja had the two highest number of cases. And Jos is close to Abuja, so we currently are the third on the list with number of cases. So,
how many
mm.
people have been diagnosed with the COVID-19?
um, in Nigeria entirely, as of yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria entirely, it was 137,000 people.
Whoa.
Yeah. And in Plateau State, that is the state where I am right now,
Mm-hmm.
there are about 8,200 cases.
I was doing a little bit of reading before, and Nigeria, is that the highest populated country in the African continent?
In the African continent, yes, and in the world entirely, Nigeria is the most populated black nation.
Really?
Use the word. Yeah, we are the most populated. We are about 205 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, 205 million people, and the land mass is not that big.
Yeah.
So
Well, because in Canada, I don't even know what the number is, but it's it's massive, right? Canada's huge. It's like the third biggest country in the world. It's
oh my
Russia,
God, Canada is
China,
huge.
Canada. Yeah, and not that many people live here, right? Like
Yeah,
it's the per capita of person per 100,000 square kilometer or whatever. It's like one per that. So, but
yes.
people all still live in pretty dense places. We all live within, well, not all, but about 80% or something all live within 50 miles of the US border, or 100 to 150 miles of the US border, right?
Wow.
So we're all very south. Yeah.
Mm.
Because we do a lot of trading with America, and that's it's the United States, the US Canadian border is the longest demilitarized border in the world. Yeah.
Yeah, I know all about that. Interesting fact, I tell you.
Yeah. So in Nigeria, and I was watching your podcast, The Eye of Africa, and the most recent episode you did was about what was happening in the government, and it looks like there was a student strike. It was End SARS. Is that correct?
Yeah, yes, that happened during the lockdown,
Mm-hmm.
actually. The government, they keep finding ways to drag us down.
Mm.
You know, when you find there is no employment, 80 to 90% of the country are youth. To be honest, just about 3% of the entire country we have are aged like 65 and above.
Yeah.
And you have between 20 to 45 occupying basically 60, 70% of the country.
Mm.
And every year there are thousands, hundreds of thousands of graduates, but there are no jobs. And when you try to move out of the country, it becomes an issue.
Right.
And when you're in the country and you are doing the best that you can for yourself, it's called an issue. For example, last year, why the NSAS hashtag and protest started was because every day you wake up and you hear that the police have arrested someone simply because he's dressing in a particular way, or he has a particular kind of hairstyle, or he's having an iPhone. That I have an iPhone, they consider me a fraudster. You know, they will arrest you. They won't book you. The arrest is illegal. They will arrest you and they will forcefully take you to any ATM machine or ask you to transfer a certain amount of money to them. Then they let you go.
Whoa.
So it's either you do that or they drag you to the police station and they keep you there. Some people are still there for over 3 years. There is no case against them. They have not been charged with anything. You just drop them there. When you have the money to pay them, you pay them. A lot of illegal things they've been doing. And then they started killing. They kill. You just pass by your car and they ask you to stop, to give them money, and you don't give them money. And the man will just shoot you and they will claim misfire. They say he misfired and stuff. So it was becoming a regular thing, and our government are not doing anything about it. Instead, they've been bringing up laws that keep giving the police, the power to do whatever they want to do without anybody checking them.
Whoa.
So when they killed few people, I think two people during the lockdown, that was what brought out the rage.
Mm-hmm.
It was exactly during the George Floyd issue in the US. So as it was happening in the US, that was when it happened here in Nigeria. So everybody started protesting. The protest started in Lagos. And then from Lagos, it moved to the capital, Abuja. And from Abuja, it now spread across the country. It lasted for 2 weeks. It was massive.
Yeah.
It was massive. And the government started feeling the heat. Nobody was sleeping at home. We were all on the street. You sleep, you wake up, you change your clothes on the street, and you continue marching. And then they came out with police. They are trying to, calm the situation down. But Nigerian police are not as trained as police in the Western countries. They don't know anything about handling riots or cases like this. They just come and they start shooting live ammunition on the crowd. Anybody who runs, runs. If you don't run, you get hit. If you die, you die. And they call you a hoodlum. So they were doing that and we were coming back. They will do that, we'll come back. They will do that, we'll come back. And it wasn't easy. So in Jos here, I attended a couple of those, actually not the first one, not the second one. I started attending on the third day of the protest in Jos. And the day I attended that protest, they were right in front of us with live ammunition. We were on our way to the government house. There's this place they call Old Airport. It's like a roundabout that leads to the Air Force base in Jos. So when you take that route, it leads you to the government house. And we were at the Old Airport junction when the police came to meet us so that we wouldn't go further. And they were just shooting. Luckily, no one died, but a lot of people were flogged. They came with sticks, with whips, horse whips, and they were whipping, they were flogging, they were, throwing tear gas at people. And we dispersed for a couple of minutes, maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes, and then we came back and we continued. And that was how it has been until the second week. The second week of protest, that was when it became deadly. It became deadly. We were protesting, and then they hired guns. There's this way that it's the Nigerian way. I don't know if it's happening in the Western world, but it's the Nigerian way. The way the government cope issues like this is by employing thugs off book to come in and disrupt the protest.
Like
So they came
mercenaries. Like
like
mercenaries.
mercenaries.
Yeah.
They came with machetes. They came with
Oh,
other little weapons, and they just jumped in the crowd and started slicing and hitting whoever they were hitting, and everybody dispersed. The moment that happened, the police came. Now that gave police the the justification to shoot at people because there
yeah.
were people with weapons.
Yeah.
So the police just came in and they opened fire. So we were attacked by both the thugs and the police. There were certain there was this picture of this guy that was captured. He was with the machete charging at someone, and there was a police officer right in front of him. And the police officer stood
Go.
there and watched this guy charge at the person. That is someone who was supposed to protect
Yes.
citizens of the country. So it became deadly. It happened in Abuja. It happened in Port Harcourt, River State. It happened in River State. It happened here in Jos. It happened. But the good thing is they didn't come to us. They went to one of the biggest. They went to the central business area of the state. They call it terminus. So they went there and they were burning people's shops and goods. And because of that, the police came up and they were shooting, and they said it was the NSAS protester that turned it into violent protest. So they started arresting and shooting and arresting and shooting and trying to force us back. Then in Lagos, on the 20th of October, that till today, it is one of the saddest things that has happened in the country. I have lived for 27 years now, and I have not seen something as terrible as that. Forget the religious crisis we keep having, because Nigeria is deeply divided religiously and politically. There have been crises about religion and politics, But apart from those ones, I've never seen something as inhumane as this. So people were gathered at the Lekki toll gate to protest. And the governor of Lagos, he said that I have set a curfew for 4 p.m. Everybody should go home.
4
But the
p.m.
protesters
curfew.
in Lagos,
Holy shit.
yes, and the protesters in Lagos are not willing to go. We have the right to protest as per the constitution of the country. So nobody went, and then he lifted the curfew. He lifted it. There was no curfew by 4 p.m. There was nobody enforcing everybody to go home. So protests continued. And then all of a sudden, around 6 p.m., 6:30 p.m., the cameras at the Lekki toll gate went off. The camera went off. They shut the power down there. And by 7 p.m. on the dot, the Nigerian military, not the police anymore, the Nigerian military came over there and opened fire on unarmed innocent citizens protesting. Scores of people were killed that day. Scores. There are lots of dead bodies flying on the ground, lots of people injured. One of the celebrity, a DJ, she was there. She made a live video of it on her Instagram. She made a live video of the incident. They were right there shooting at these protesters. And then the following morning, they denied ever being there. There was no video evidence of them being there because the cameras were shot. But the good thing is in Nigeria, everybody has digital, we have data, we have smartphones, and there were videos of what happened everywhere, including what the DJ did. She had to put it out there on her Instagram story so that we could see what was happening live, those that were not in Lagos.
Yes. Yeah.
So that one was there. There was no denying the fact that you saw it, right? There
No,
was no
I
denying the
just,
fact that
yeah. So
yeah.
when did this happen? Was this in October last year?
Yes, 20th of October
Yeah.
last year. 20th of October last year. It was terrible.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Until today, the presidency set up a panel of investigation. That's what happened every day in Nigeria. If something happens today, they set up a panel.
Mm-hmm.
After 2 weeks, 3 weeks, the panel goes quiet and you never hear anything about it anymore. He set up a panel. The military denied ever being there. And then subsequently, as they started getting hit, CNN did a documentary about what happened, BBC did, and there were images everywhere. So the governor of the state now said, okay, he didn't give the order for the military to shoot anybody because the military only answered to the president. But the military now came out and said, no, we were invited by the governor of the state to come and help him handle the situation. So they were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And this morning, I just woke up and I found out that the panel set by the president has now allowed the toll gates to be reopened for business, and they're not really saying anything much about it. They're not really saying any much. They are not holding anyone accountable. There are soldiers who were there. Those soldiers were acting by the orders of someone. And whoever that person is acting by the orders of someone ahead of him, which most likely will be the chief of army staff, who the president has now sacked, or let's say he resigned. They use the term resigned. And the chief of army staff will definitely be acting from the orders of the president. One way or the other, it leads up to the president.
Mm-hmm.
But in Nigeria, you don't talk about the president. You talk about the president or the government or the party, and you wake up in the morning and you have the EFCC, you have the DSS, you have the police, you have the ICPC, you have the drug enforcement agencies all at your door, charging you one thing or the other. They use the law enforcement agencies as weapons.
Right.
So a lot of us don't really come out to say anything about government. But yeah, that's what happened. It was terrible. It
Well,
was terrible.
the whole thing is just like, I mean, why don't why don't I know about this? Why doesn't the West know about this? You know what I mean? Like these things that are
Because they don't
happening.
care. They are happening, but they don't care. That's just it. They don't care. And actually, we don't really care either, because we'll fight our battles. We will not wait for the West to come fight for us.
Mm-hmm.
So if we keep folding our hands, waiting for the West to come fight for us, it's going to be. Last year, during the election, in 2019, we had the general election. I can categorically tell you that this president lost that election.
Of course. Yeah.
He lost that election. The Nigerian youth have never been together on a cause like ousting this president.
Mm-hmm.
He lost that election point blank, and he stole it. He rigged it. In my state, Kaduna State. I'm from Kaduna State originally. In my state, Kaduna State, all of us, those of us are from Southern Kaduna. Now, 80% of our polling units results there were cancelled. And we were all voting against him. In the northern part of my state, you see, in my state, the state is divided into two. The southern part is predominantly Christians.
Right.
And the northern part of the state is predominantly Muslims.
Right.
The president is Muslim, and the nature of Islam here in Nigeria is not like Islam across the world. Here in Nigeria, it's just strictly about the religion. They don't care about your integrity or how good you are. As long as you are one of them, either a Christian or a Muslim, as long as you're one of them, they'll vote for you to keep in power. So there was a lot of rigging, mass rigging, voter suppression. You know, you come for election and they tell you that your voter's card is not able to read, and because of that, you cannot be able to vote. A lot of things, you know, the voting machines are not working, the servers are not working. Some places in some part of Nigeria, especially in the north here where I am, little underage children are coming to vote. You know, they are coming to vote. There were videos of youths catching election officials with ballot boxes, you know, taking them into the bush and then thumbprinting for the president. You know, gathering mass number of votes. They were caught, they were given to the police, and the police would take them into custody and then they will release them. So last year, when the shooting started, we decided that one way or the other, we are going to end it. Not wait for the West to come help us. Yeah. I watched a video during that protest period. I watched a video about someone, I can't even recall his name. I think he's American, saying something about us not important, our issues are not important. They know about Boko Haram, you know how we're suffering from Boko Haram, you know, especially us here in the north. Boko Haram are dealing with people here. They know they could help us. They know they could help us by selling ammunition for us to fight these people, to sell it to the government. But they're not even selling it to the government. Our soldiers don't even have proper ammunition. They are using like 1,700 weapons, or let's say World War II weapons, to fight Boko Haram. Boko Haram have sponsors.
Yes.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Well, I mean, ISIS. I've heard that.
Not really ISIS.
Yeah.
Not really ISIS.
But Boko Haram is this kind of extremist religious movement that identifies as being Islamic. Not saying that Islamic, you know, is like that or anything, but that's what they are. And then their goal is to kind of take over Nigeria. Is that right? Boko Haram.
Exactly. They want an Islamic state just like ISIS.
Yeah.
You know, they are motivated by ISIS.
Yes.
Their leader Sheko has pledged his loyalty to ISIS. But ISIS did not really recognize him that much. But here in Nigeria, there are rich men, those in government that are sponsoring them. They use them for their own benefits. Let me tell you something. Have you ever heard where terrorists are arrested then rehabilitated, and then released back to the public, put in schools, given jobs. These are people that kill scores of people. And then you arrest someone who has an iPhone and you keep him in jail for 5 years for no just cause. This is what is happening in the country.
I was going to say, like,
every day.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
No, go on, go on.
Well, I was going to say,
Right.
I feel like the reason they're arresting people with iPhones, young people with iPhones, is because they could get ahead. They're afraid of people getting ahead, right? I mean, we've seen this through history. They try to repress people who they're growing in their freedom of speech. Sorry to cut you off, by the way. Go ahead, Chomzy.
Exactly. That is what they are doing. They are trying to bring a bill about social media bill that stop us from talking about the government, talking about what the country is going through. The Minister of Information trying to use China as an example. They can curb the social media space, the internet, restrict people from
censorship.
It is terrible. So we are really going through a lot. And in fact, that is one of the reasons why I started my podcast.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't really know what is happening in Nigeria. A lot of people in Nigeria don't really care about what is happening in Nigeria. As long as I wake up in the morning, I have something to eat, I'm fine. They don't really care about the future. When I was little in primary school, we used to sing this song about parents taking care of their children because we are the leaders of tomorrow. And I am about hitting my third decade in this earth, and I am still looking for how my generation can be the leaders of tomorrow.
Right.
My parents' generation have come and gone, and we are still looking for those leaders of tomorrow. So I thought, why not use this medium to spread knowledge about things that is happening in the country? There are a lot of social vices, religious vices, political issues that is happening that people don't really know about. And not just in Nigeria, in Africa in general.
Right.
In Africa in general, we are going through the same thing, the same cycle, greedy, selfish, wicked leaders who all they think about is themselves, amassing wealth, amassing wealth, amassing wealth. For example, during this lockdown, other countries are coming up with stimulus to help their citizens survive the crisis. The United Nations provided resources to countries, including Nigeria, to help with this crisis. None of us ever saw a dime. The Nigerian Senate did not even think about doing anything about it. They keep talking about palliatives, palliatives, palliatives. And different organizations brought different packages into the country. None of us got anything until towards the end of last year, during the NSAS protests and everything. We started discovering warehouses where governors in each state were hoarding palliatives, food and goods and other little things, toiletries that were meant for people. They were hoarding them in warehouses. In Jos alone, where I stay, there are about 3 warehouses that were busted. Millions of tons of food were hidden, were hoarded. In Lagos State, there is one of their state legislature that hoarded a lot of these palliatives, and she used them as souvenirs for her birthday. Weird things are happening. It's terrible.
Now, talking about this, I think there's, and again, I mean, I'm so distanced from this. I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to speak philosophically, but I feel like there's a connection between technology and kind of social media, mass information, and social change. And that's kind of what you're talking about how they're trying to, put down people who have iPhones or any way that they can kind of disseminate, spread information about what's going on. You mentioned about this Instagram video that captured this police shooting, or excuse me, military shooting on civilians. Is there a connection between COVID and us having to stay at home, and that we're kind of waking up to, excuse me, not we, Nigerians are waking up to something's not right here. We can do something. We need to do something about this for our children. I mean, you mentioned that you have a nephew. I won't say his age or anything, but you have a young nephew. I have a young daughter. You want to see a better world for your nephew. Do you see that there's a change waking up in people, that they're able to protest, or are they becoming scared again and pushed back?
No, 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 no.
Mm.
The time for being scared has passed.
Mm.
Time for being scared has passed. The lockdown opened our eyes.
Yes.
The lockdown opened our eyes. A lot of us in Nigeria, became more aware of the situation in the country. We became more aware of how we need to do something for our children and our loved ones. Because we're already going, our time is already passing. Our generation is going without achieving anything, but we have to make sure that there is something for the ones coming after us, to come and do something better. There's no fear. That time has passed. Right now in Nigeria, the only thing that matters to us most is to get these people out of government and to get someone who will come in and do the needful. For example, restructure the entire constitution of the country.
Mm.
We need that. There is a lot of unrest because of how the constitution is set up. It tends to favor one side and it doesn't favor the other side. And because Nigeria, we don't speak one language, there are a lot of languages, like hundreds of languages in Nigeria. We have a lot of our culture is similar, but there are little variations. So because of our ethnic differences, the country is not really, really at rest. And those from the southeast are every day threatening to, break out, take us back to the time of the Civil War. Those from the east, southeast are equally doing their own. Those from the south are equally doing their own. And those of us from the north are equally doing our own. And it doesn't really help because there's no cohesion. So we have all we have we have come of age, we have grown. The social media has given us the space to express ourselves, where people can listen to us, we can connect with people from different places and exert some change. During the last election, some of our young people got into government, and we're happy that there are few people. One of them was one of our, he's an esteemed Nollywood actor. He's from the movie industry. He's big in the movie industry. And then he woke up and then he got into politics. He won the election. The other one contested for governorship in his state. He lost the election. The other one contested for the House of Representatives. He lost the election though, but one of them got in, and a few other young ones from different places got into government. So it's a start for us.
Yeah, the next generation.
Yes, it's a start for us. The next thing we need to focus on is getting women more involved. Getting women more involved in politics, in the day-to-day affairs of the country. And during this NSAS protest, I saw a lot of women that were champions of this cause, especially Aisha Yusufu. Aisha Yusufu is, to us right now, our Lady of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty in
Yes. Yeah.
America and
What's
what it means to
what's her name again?
Aisha Yusufu. Aisha Yusufu. Yusufu like Yusuf with U at the end. Yusufu. Aisha Yusufu. She stood up she gingered us, she gave us the morale, she gave us the will, the strength to
Yeah.
come out and face these people. And then there's this other lady, Rinu. She's called Rinu. I don't think I know her full name, but we all know her by,
Right.
she goes by Rinu. She Both of them gave us strength. Burna Boy, Wizkid, Davido, and a lot of other celebrities, including the DJ, I don't want to call her name because she has been under a lot of fire from the government and stuff. I think she got asylum to come over to Canada or something. Because I think she got asylum to Canada. So I don't want to really keep calling her name, So they really gave us, they were there. And since that time, we adore, especially Aisha Yusufu. A lot of us adore that woman. Her strength is wow. I'm telling you, if I have half the strength that woman has, I will be grateful. She's a
How
powerful
old is
woman.
she?
I think she should be in her 40s now.
Wow.
I think she should be in her 40s now.
Because like that DJ that you're saying, you don't even want to mention their name.
Yeah.
I mean, the safety and security of people that protest, that are these symbols of justice, right? Their lives are at danger.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
Oh, no, it's all good. Yeah, their lives are in danger.
Yes. I can hear you.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Their lives are definitely in danger. But for Aisha Yusufu, she's not really scared of the danger. She walked into the danger. She was arrested a couple of times, harassed, beaten by the police. A lot of things were done to her just to shut her up. But she was just there. She keeps coming back and coming back and coming back till their accounts were closed. All those that were sponsoring the NSAS, people that supported the movement with money for food, those that were like right at the top of the protests. All their accounts were blocked from the central bank. And a lot of devices were created to stop them from influencing the protests, and they keep coming back. They keep coming back. That woman is not scared. And because of her, a lot of us have woken up. A lot of us have woken up. A lot of us have seen, there was this thing she said. I don't know, in Pidgin, I'll explain it in English, but in Pidgin, she said, I know they fear to die. All die, now die. She was she was on this TV network, granting an interview, and they were asking her how she's, still going to this protest, knowing the fact that her life could be in danger. And she was like, she's not scared to die. After all, everyone will die, So she has to do what she has to do for her children.
Yes.
And she rallied the entire youth from that interview and told us she'll be going out to protest. And anybody who is tired of how we are being treated in the country and how people are being killed every day for just living their lives should come out and join her. So she stepped out for the protests, and in less than an hour, the country is, there's protests everywhere. So we adore her and we are grateful for her.
And it sounds like the changes, I mean, here in Canada, we take the security that is democracy for granted. We take what we have here for granted. At least I know I do. The fact that, I walk up and I put my ballot down and it's like, great, right? Whereas in many places in the world and places in Canada, places in the United States, voter suppression exists, right? That getting your vote out there is, and it sounds like in Nigeria, what you're describing is the ability to vote is something not to be taken for granted. And when it's respected,
exactly,
it can give you authentic representation, authentic democracy. And what's happened in Nigeria with the voting is that it's been fraudulent, it's been corrupted, that people like yourself who have voted for a different leader, who millions have voted for, have been neglected, have been muted, have been silenced. And that is not democracy. And what you're after and what Aisha Sufu is after is true democracy. And there's millions of people in Nigeria, and that is attainable. And I think that
It
through
is.
this wake up that you're talking about, through COVID, through her words, her everybody dies, but not everybody truly lives, that people are seeing, yeah, this is the time, like you said, for her children, for your nephew, right? What's the world that I want to leave them with?
Exactly. That is our goal.
Hmm.
That is our goal. And you see, from Nigeria last year, we got a major push this year. That is in Uganda. In Uganda, there was general election in Uganda. And this guy is a musician. And he woke up and said he's going to contest for presidency of Uganda. He needs to change how Uganda is. That country has been ruled by one person for 37 years.
Wow.
And they have not been going anywhere. It's just chaos and chaos. So he stood up, he rallied the entire nation. He rallied the entire nation and he became a force. He became a force for people to look up to and say, yes, we can do it through him. The president arrested his wife and had him on the run. While trying to go for elections, he's on the run. The president keeps putting people back on lockdown while he goes for his rallies, you know, conflicting interests. You're trying to stop people from getting the virus, but you are equally going out for rallies where mass numbers of people are coming out for the rally. During the election week, they put the guy on house arrest. That is a young musician.
Right.
He was on house arrest. His wife was equally arrested. And he was just not being able to go out and do his own thing. But the good thing is he has already rallied a lot of people, millions of people, not just in Uganda, the entire African continent. Millions of people were looking up to him. He is now, the man to start the change for us, bringing down someone who has refused to let go of the power he has.
Yes.
What did the president do? He went on and shut down the internet in Uganda. He shut down the internet in Uganda so that people from outside wouldn't know what is happening in the country. So that has been another major issue in Africa. And I was going to talk about it in my first episode of this year, my podcast. I've not made any episode this year so far. But that Uganda issue was what I was going to talk about. I watched the video where this guy escaped death. He was on his way home with some journalists, and when he got to his house, he saw the military gathered at his house, surround his house. And the moment they set eyes on him, they started chasing him. This guy ran for his life, entered the bush, and ran away. That video was captured by, I think, maybe BBC or some foreign network like that, but he was one of those networks. And you begin to wonder, what kind of Africa is this? Where people are holding on to power by fire, by force. We are going to change that.
Yeah.
Honestly, we will. We are going to change that. Gradually, we will change it. Didier Drogba did some things for his country some few years back, and it was applauded. He found a way to stop civil war breaking in his country, in Cote d'Ivoire. And a lot of other young people are doing a lot of things. And this is what we want to do. This is what my podcast wants to do. To rally young people in Nigeria and in other countries, especially in Africa. To rally people to wake up and see that these problems we are facing can be eradicated. Trying to educate them on the problems, trying to educate them on why we are having these problems, and then seeing if we can come up with solutions that can help us go forward, move forward, help us move forward. And we will do it. We will do it. We'll do it. If foreign people, foreign countries like Canada, the US, UK, France, maybe Germany, you know, can find a way to help, which I doubt they will because they wouldn't want to. It will be a good thing, but I don't think they can. Already, our country is swimming in debt. You know, China, the government keeps running to China to get loans from China, and it is a terrible idea.
Oh shit.
It is a terrible
Yeah.
idea.
Because then China has investments, right?
I'm telling you, yes, they keep running to China for loans, and China keeps giving them to them.
Of course.
Because when China come for their loans and they can't give them back, they're taking something that belongs to us.
Yeah.
They will, and that is what we are trying to avoid. And then they keep going to other places, taking loans and then increasing tariffs, increasing tariffs. 60 years of independence, and we don't have constant electricity in the country. 60 years of independence, and we are still depending on crude oil when there are a lot of other ways to get power, to get electricity, to get other resources. We have a lot of mineral resources in the country, but none of them have been harnessed, not even half of it. They focus on petroleum, and when you get the crude, you sell the crude to the US,
Yeah.
or to another country, and then they refine it in that country, and then they
Exactly.
sell it back to you twice the amount you sold it to them. Why not
Yeah.
get a working refinery in your own country to refine your own crude oil? A
And
lot of issues.
and that's the thing though, is that's colonialism, right? 60 years ago, your country got its independence, and was Nigeria, was it a French colony?
No, no, English.
English, right? So thank you. Yeah. So I guess that's what, 1960, and then did
19,
the English just left, and it's like,
they
here's
left.
democracy, and you're like, this is an abstract idea that you have to. It takes time to create, and like you said, it's taken 60 years, right? 60 years to get
Yeah,
to this point. How far away? Because that's the other thing that we talked about. Western powers, they don't give a shit, because it's always about what they can get out of it. We have to be real with ourselves. It's what they can get out of it. Why did they invade Iraq? Weapons of mass destruction? Bullshit. They wanted oil. You know what I mean? Oh, it's a humanitarian effort. Well, we've seen that happen, and it's like, as soon as we can get out, they do. So really, it comes down to people, and that's the point of my show too. Is that in India right now, there's a farmers' protest going on, and it's horrible. The government has tried to censor the internet, right? And so what's happening now is that people are getting the information out. It's no longer governments. They're there to protect us, and we do have to trust, we have to cooperate with them. But real change comes from, like what you've been describing, is the people, the heart and soul of any nation. And we need to work together globally. And that's why, I'm so thankful that I've had this honor, this privilege to speak with you, Chomzy. So thank you.
The honor is all mine. I've been looking for ways to get my own voice out.
Mm.
So I will jump on anything that will really get my voice out, the voice of my people out, and my podcast out. Nigeria is not big on podcasts. I have to be honest. When I started, I was like, who even listens self?
Mm.
We don't really care about that. We are just all about, cable and radio stations. Nobody really care about going to, podcast. Nobody knows. You say, have you listened to my podcast? So what is a podcast?
Yeah.
What is that? They're like, oh, you don't know. And when you put someone through, the person says, so I have to use my data to download it or listen to it. And you're like, yes, you have to. And the person will like, okay. And he'll go, but you know that he's not going to do that because data is not free in the country.
Right.
So for someone to waste, a lot of data to go and download something when he can easily tune into a radio station without paying a dime to listen to a program. So it's difficult. It's difficult. That's why I started looking for other ways to get my voices out and my voice out. And then people started coming. You're actually the second person I've spoken to. The first person was from the US.
Mm.
The US and Canada, I think, and Ghana, they have huge followership from there.
That's awesome.
70% of my listeners are from the US and from Canada. I don't even know how that is,
What your show has a great name too, Eye of Africa, which I looked up Eye of Africa just to see, and that's it's this really crazy like it's like a rock quarry, like a natural forming rock quarry in Africa that you can kind of see from space. What made you come up with that name, Eye of Africa?
Really, I don't know. I don't know. It was just based on the fact that I wanted to talk about African issues. I want to talk about African issues and something that will make people see us, see us the way we see things, see the way Africa is through me, through my voice, listen to my voice and see how Nigeria in particular is and the rest of Africa. Because to be honest, we used to be the giant of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria is a superpower in Africa. When you mention Nigeria in every corner of Africa, everyone trembles. That includes Egypt,
Mm.
But today, no one cares. Our citizens are being treated anyhow in South Africa, in Ghana, in Kenya, in Uganda, anywhere in Africa, a Nigerian citizen goes, and he's not held with high regard because of how the government over the years have ridiculed, especially the last 6 years under this president. It's been terrible. It's been terrible. Our embassies in Ghana was attacked. The embassy in Ghana was attacked. In South Africa, every day you wake up and you hear Nigerian citizens are being killed, xenophobic attacks on Nigerians, predominantly Nigerians. It goes with other countries like Zimbabwe citizens, but it mostly affects Nigerians. You go to somewhere and then all of a sudden there are places where your visa, your Nigerian passport will not take you to. In Africa, you don't even have direct route from Nigeria to South Africa. You have to fly to another country. Maybe you go to Dubai, and then from Dubai, you come to maybe Belgium or Germany or somewhere. Then from there, you come back to South Africa.
To get to
Everything is a disaster.
that doesn't make any sense.
That
So,
doesn't make any sense at all. I think the only direct route you have from Nigeria is from Nigeria to Ghana. Nigeria and Ghana, we are like twins. We share the same similarities. Everything is almost the same. But now Ghana is ahead of us. South Africa from nowhere are ahead of us. Kenya are ahead of us, and Egypt. Don't get me starting about Egypt. Egypt is playing in the big leagues now, So we are just there, just using the name Giants of Africa, but we are nowhere to be found anymore in the game. So I thought, why not just do this and give it a name, something that will just make people see Africa the way it is right now. So I just thought Eye of Africa. And I thought of something that would portray Eye of Africa. There's nothing better than an African map, map of Africa. I thought maybe getting someone to make some design with an eye inside, but I thought it would be too much, too much. So I decided to go with the saying of I am African, not just because I was born in Africa, but because Africa is born in me. We have to do what we have to do to make people see Africa the way we are.
Yeah.
There's no continent in the world that is as blessed as Africa, with people, with wealth, minerals, nothing. But we cannot harness it because we have few people who are trying to strangle us, to squeeze the bread out of us for themselves. So that is basically the reason for this podcast. Get people to see us, listen to us, learn about us, and do things better.
Well, your show is about this waking up the consciousness of people, not just in Nigeria but around Africa. And I know you said that people have to use data, but I could see people coming around, all listening together, and then that spreads because what 500, 600 years ago or whatever it was, the printing press was invented. And all these books all across Europe, they were developed and ideas spread. And from these ideas, it created change. And change is never easy. It's never like fluid, right? Just like what we're seeing in Nigeria with these protests and the military. It's never smooth, but it's real. It's representative of the people. So keep doing what you're doing. And I know this isn't safe for you. And I so deeply respect what you're doing, man.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. For the matter of safety, I don't know if it's safe for me, actually. No one really knows me, No one really knows me. No one
They
really,
will.
really cares. But they will. Yes, they will. They will. And I'm hoping that by the time that they do, a lot of people have listened. A lot of people have grown, have woken up, and the movement will keep going on. But we'll keep pushing. We'll keep pushing and trying to get the word out there.
You can't stop, my friend. Keep it up, Chomzy. Chomzy, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, this is the first time, but it is not the last time, my friend. And
No,
we'll have
definitely.
to
No.
we'll have to see that soccer game.
Yeah, we will. Actually, I'm thinking of finding my way to Canada. It's just tough, getting the money to do everything, getting your international passport, getting your visa and stuff. It's tedious. And also considering the coronavirus issue.
Yes.
But hopefully someday I'll get to see Canada. I've never left the country, actually. I've never left Nigeria before. So Canada is in my list, definitely.
Well, hey, man, I'd love to show you around.
Yeah, man, I will.
All right.
I'm very grateful for this opportunity, So
I as
we'll
am
hook
I.
up. Yeah, hook up.
All right. Thank you. Is it all right
Yeah,
if
you
I
too.
turn the recording on again?
Oh no, it's fine. I just got carried away actually.
No. Well, you're making a good point. This comparison, right? So do you mind if I start you off again there? Because you're talking about this Twitter thing and this lady saying that the United States only had one stimulus check, and she's saying that the United States is a failed state. And then you were talking about your response to that.
Yeah, I I said, lady, you had one stimulus check.
Mm-hmm.
You are not a failed state. When you come down to a country where cryptocurrency is banned and termed illegal, when you come to a country where people have to steal from their neighbor's spot, to eat,
Yeah.
then you will know what a failed state looks like. A country of 200 plus million people, and over 80% of that population is poor, like living in abject poverty. Nigeria is currently the poverty capital of the entire world. People live, barely live over $1 a day in Nigeria. People barely live over $1 a day in Nigeria. I don't talk about my own situation, but it's crazy, it's crazy. So, man, we have to do something. We
Yeah.
have to do something. That's why we're thinking, if Macron could do it in France, and we have Prime Minister Trudeau in Canada doing it, why can't we have people like that in Africa doing it? You don't necessarily have to look at them as your role model, but you have to look at the fact that they attempted to do it and they achieved it. We have people like Kingsley Moghalu. He contested for presidency last year. I love the man. The man have ideas that by a mile it will change the country.
Mm.
But politics is a game of numbers. And in Nigeria, we have the APC and the PDP. The APC are currently in government, but the APC and the PDP have all the numbers. 90% of voters in Nigeria are either voting for APC or PDP. And these young ones coming up, they cannot even break into the APC or the PDP because that is like the swamp. When you hear talk about the swamp, that is like the swamp. And we have Kingsley Moghalu coming from a different party. We have this other, I don't want to mention his name too. Till today he's been dragged up and down through courts. Today he'll be arrested. Tomorrow he'll be released. Just trying to silence him. He contested for presidency too. Two young men with great ideas, but they cannot push the numbers and get people out to vote for them because of the money and the powers that be. But that is what we are trying to change. If we could get a lot of people to see them, to see Nigeria
Right.
outside PDP and APC, to see that we could do far much better outside these two parties, we'll be fine. Not to talk, Kingsley Moghalu worked with the UN. He was with the central bank and he worked with the UN. He is very qualified in a lot of things. Diplomatically, he's fantastic. His ideas is fantastic. The idea of restructuring the country is what we are looking forward to. And Kingsley Moghalu has it. But how do we go forward, to putting him out there for the people? Him putting himself out there. There are some things he could not say because if he dares say it, he will end up in jail for 2 years. And by the time he's out, the election season is over already. So
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well,
But we'll do it.
and it's interesting because you mentioned Trudeau, and um, I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Trudeau. I don't dislike the guy or anything, but he tries to make from what I understand, what I see, he tries to make everybody happy. And what often ends up happening is when you try to make everybody happy, you make everybody equally pissed off, right? So it comes down to in moving forward in Nigeria, you have these leaders that are like, this is what I'm dead set on. And they're not wavering, right? And that's where that change comes in because they're committed to it. I was talking to somebody about this
Yeah.
the other day, and it's this in jujitsu. The worst thing you can do is half commit to a move, and then you get your ass whooped. You have to fully commit to what you're doing. And that's what these leaders are doing from what you're telling me, what I understand.
Yeah. Sorry, I gotta go. It's getting dark in
No
here.
problem. Yeah, I
So
see
very
that.
soon.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah,
thank you
you'll not
so
be able to
much.
see me very soon.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Chomzy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm going to send you that
Thank
video
you.
right now. Okay.
Thank you very much. I
All right.
appreciate it.
Yeah. And let's
I
keep in
appreciate it.
touch.
We will.
All right, man.
We will.